Good afternoon. Welcome to the Robert and Frances Fullerton Museum of Art's annual holiday event for members. I am Eva Kirsch, RAFFMA's director. Thank you for attending our COVID-19 era virtual holiday event. You're wonderful, and I'm so happy to see you all. Later today, we'll have an opportunity to mingle, chat, and even have a drink together, and I am looking forward to it. The museum has been closed since March 19, and will most likely remain closed in the spring semester. The staff operates mostly remotely, but also works on site on some really fantastic, amazing technology-related projects. We want to bring our museum collection to your home in the most rewarding way. We're also working on some new exhibitions for the spring semester. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all, including members, Board of Advocates, and here in particular, Dr. Eri Yasuhara, who bravely agreed to serve for 1 more year. And community at large, for all your support and loyalty. My warm, sincere thank you goes to Dr. Benson Herr and Adina Saving for their recent monetary and in-kind donations. It is really exciting that our collection has some new, quite stunning additions, and we hope to be able to present them to you in our new exhibition sometime in the future, I hope near future and in person. And last but not least, I am filled with admiration for the museum staff. They have been truly amazing in how quickly, bravely, and effectively they adapted to the new, challenging situation. Thank you guys so much. You have been truly awesome. In this strange environment, there were some bright moments. RAFFMA staff got some technology money, the so-called Getty grant, and we were able to buy VR equipment. We were able to transfer all 3 exhibitions to the virtual format, in addition to producing some amazing, diverse virtual content every month for almost 9 months now. All of it is available on RAFFMA at home. In recognition of our achievements during the pandemic, the museum staff was recognized last summer by receiving the annual Presidential Team Award. It was presented to us during the August convocation, the virtual convocation. We were very proud and very thankful, thanking all of you who nominated and supported us. Thank you very much. And there's some more challenges ahead of us in 2021 and further ahead, including the American Alliance of Museums reaccreditation. The process will start for us in January of 2021, so just in 2 months. And we hope to complete it by the end of 2022. During the time, we'll need lots of your love and support. So please stay with us, love us, and stay loyal. Thank you for everything you do and for joining us tonight. Enjoy the event and have a warm, bright, and rewarding holiday season. Thank you, and see you later.
Hello, RAFFMA members and community. My name is Miranda Canseco, and I'm the Marketing, Membership, and Engagement Coordinator. Thank you so much for joining us for the 2020 Annual Member Holiday Celebration. As Eva has mentioned, this year has provided for some trying times for us as a university and museum. But we also have some amazing achievements, as the museum staff and students have worked to provide a museum from home experience. This includes the RAFFMA at Home project, which launched just a week after the closure, 2 virtual museum exhibitions, one of which I'm standing in, called Festival de Calaveras, in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. We also launched a virtual Kids Discover Egypt workshop, which was a week-long of activities for kids, as well as a museum rebranding with vibrant new colors for a fresh look. I would like to thank the RAFFMA staff and students for their constant creativity and versatility. I would now like to introduce the next portion of our program. Thanks to an amazing former employee of RAFFMA, a new RAFFMA board member, and a Getty employee, Tiffany Talavera, we are able to bring to you an exclusive Getty Underground experience. The Getty Underground is a tradition among the Getty staff where they put together an exhibition of their own artwork. Due to their closure, the team has adapted to create a virtual Getty Underground experience using gaming technology. I hope you enjoyed this mini tour by Tiffany, and for your exclusive viewing, an email link has been sent to you. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for this wonderful opportunity, and enjoy.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Getty Underground 2020 Vision. I'm Tiffany Talavera, Arts Member for RAFFMA and Getty Staff Member for the Getty Underground Committee. The Getty Underground started in 1996 as a staff exhibition and opening day gala. This year we've decided to do things a little different. Because of the coronavirus pandemic of 2020, we decided to launch a virtual exhibition and gallery. Not even COVID can stop creativity, so let's come along. The Getty Underground started in 1996 as a creative exhibition project for staff members, contractors, and volunteers of the Getty. The Human Resources Department separately funds and hosts this exhibition for our staff members to explore and show their talents. We've been doing this for 20 years in a gallery space under the museum, which is why it's called Underground. People go and look through all forms of art, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, culinary activities, photography, film, and spoken word and subtext. This year, because of the pandemic of coronavirus 2020, we've decided to launch a virtual gallery and bring the space to you in a virtual means. Because we're closed right now, you're invited to come back and visit us, but through a virtual gallery means. Miranda has provided your invitation with the link and password for you to come back and enjoy the Getty Underground on your own time in your home computer. Let's take a walk through and I'll give you some explanations about what you can explore and find when you come to the virtual gallery. Today I'm going to take you through our mini spaces of creative endeavors by our staff, docents, and volunteers. We're going to go through a two-dimensional space, a three-dimensional art space. We have a history wall that has a retrospective of the very first 1996 to our most recent Getty Underground. Our villa courtyard reminiscent of our Getty pools and fountains. We have an art talk space where artists talk more in depth about the work they've created. We also have a culinary gallery, so even though you can't taste our delights, you'll definitely be able to see them. And we also have a subtext gallery that has poetry, literature, and all the words that we can't always say, but want to see. The writing will be on the wall here. As we go through, there'll be special features that normally we don't always get to enjoy when we're in the Getty Center or Getty Villa. You can't jump in the pool, but in our virtual space, you can take a dip. You can't hear the 405 freeway running behind you and get stuck in traffic, but you'll be able to see the beautiful mountains and the area around. We'll also be able to see some of the sculptured features from our villa, as well as some of our Getty exhibition spaces at the center. You'll recognize some of the sculpture works exactly how you would see them in real life. And you'll be able to walk some of the corridors as if you were actually as a part of the Getty. We hope you enjoy it, and we're going to start taking a look around. Our first stop on our virtual tour will be at the Getty Information Desk. As you can see here, we have a map that you can use to navigate all of our spaces. It'll take you through everywhere you'd like to see artwork, as well as have a glass of champagne. Please enjoy a glass of that now. We also have a scavenger hunt, and if you go to our desk here and tap on this, you'll be able to look at the instructions and hear our fun poem letting you know how to engage in our scavenger hunt. Normally we don't have a beautiful grand piano playing, but for our purposes today in our virtual world, one of our staff members is a composer and he has composed 5 different songs for you to play. Click on the piano and listen. That sounds nice. Next, we have our Getty bust, and that is actually something that we have at the Getty entrance. J. Paul Getty, our patron of our arts, He's the person that we have here, and he is golden. He may be one of our first items in the scavenger hunt. One of the works we're going to look at is by Scott Taylor. He's with our museum in our lighting department. Scott has created this work in 2019, beautifully hand-painted with colors. The best part about having this art show is to know that all of the Getty artists involved are staff members and contractors and members of staff that do something opposite of the work that they do when they're on their own. Scott has been painting for many years, and he seems as a master in his work. Not only can he do lighting for the department, but in his own free time, he's very skilled with the brush, as you can see here. Another artist's work that I'd like you to look at is Kathy Dunlop. This is called The Grandmas. Kathy has done a family history with collage and mixed media, bringing together her personal feelings as well as an image of things that she remembers from her childhood, and shows this to everyone. Kathy is one of the coordinators at the Getty Trust for our facilities department. And here she shows that not just organizing your thoughts and feelings and emotions, but also the history of your family can help us stay connected. Another work I'd like to show you are Pink Water Lilies by Jessica Fairley. She did oil on canvas, a large painting of the beautiful landscape, close view of a water lily with reflections of water off of it. Jessica works in our Getty bookstore at the Villa and is an appreciated member of staff. I'd like us to take a quick look at this work by Jenna Spera. It's stunning. Every time I come into the virtual space, I have to see this piece. She's done paint on a mirror. So we're not reflecting on ourselves or seeing our own image, but seeing a reflection of color and light and swirls ahead of us. And we have to think, how do we engage with this work and what it means to us? She's done a vintage mirror with oil paint. And Jenna has obviously captured our attention with something that she's wanted us to see with the perspective of this here. The next work I want you to look at comes from Karen Rosa. She's painted a beautiful flower, and from afar, you see the color and soft petals. But getting a closer look, there are small faces that are implemented in the various shapes around the center. Take a close look and tell us what you see. What does it make you feel and think? For me, every time I come, I have to investigate, discover more about what this work means. Let's thank her by thinking of how often we have other people in mind when we start to create. In the corner of the screen, beneath her title information, there is an Art Talk symbol. That lets you know that this particular artist has provided information to us more in depth about her work. When you'd like to, go to the Art Talk space. You'll find the image of her work. You can click on that and be able to hear more about her work. Please enjoy her story. Because we're in a two-dimensional space in our virtual gallery, I'd like to point out one of our quilts. Normally, Joe Hearn's raffled quilts every holiday season would be hung so that you can get a close look at the texture and layout and comfort that her quilts provide. For our purposes, I want you to see the vibrant color and patterns that she's put together. Jo Hearn's quilt today is a two-dimensional gallery space piece. But think about that during the holidays if you'd like to be wrapped in this lovely quilt. I would, and I look forward to seeing Jo's quilts in person again. This is a work by Margaret Okaida. This is called The Battle. This is a still picture of Margaret's shadow boxes. Margaret has been creating shadow boxes for very many years. She starts off with painting the background and the layout and the characters. She uses fairy tales from her Japanese heritage that she learned growing up, and then creates small skilled boxes and has lighting added to them and motion. I'm going to show you a short film of The Battle. She has a featured art talk, so please give that a listen. She gives you a very wonderful explanation of how she takes a fairy tale feature and brings it to three-dimensional life in a shadow box. Here, Getty Security Officer Linda Roan has created stained glass windows on panels. Above, you can see some of her still up-close shots of her brushstrokes, sweeping colors, and overwhelming sense of glory. When you step back, she also decided to show you the stained glass look if you were in a church and having kind of a spiritual moment. She's done this triptych with colors of blue, orange, and green, capturing warm tones against the wild brushstrokes that she has close up. I want you to show my own piece that I've entered into the Getty Underground. This is a needle felt piece in which I take needles and poke pressed wool to compose an animal or a small creature. I call this Yes, Miss Potter because I wanted to reflect a conversation of Peter Rabbit and his creator Beatrix Potter, explaining why he has a bag full of vegetables from Mr. McGregor's garden. Here I wanted to take something from my childhood, a fairy tale that I love dearly, and give it a little life through wool and felt. A fun project and a little painful to begin with. But being able to understand what our childhood means to us now and be able to reflect on that is what I've done here. Yes, Miss Potter is Peter's response to being in the garden and saying, sorry, I won't go back again. Doesn't look like he needs to. He's got a bag full. Welcome to our subtext space. We're going to look at a work by Tai Nguyen. Part of being in the subtext space is being able to hear and see the words, poetry, literature, and thoughts of our staff members. They create these original works on their own and share them with us. Ellie Rosen has created a short poem and recited it about Deal. Please give it a listen. It's humorous and helps us to reflect on our own struggles in life, no matter how small they may be.
I plant you in my herb garden, tend to you lovingly, water you, talk to you, and yet you scoff and die. Then you mock me. You grow in sidewalk cracks and seed yourself in my rose garden, as if to say, you think you have power, but I'm here to remind you that you do not. Even a lowly plant, oft considered a weed, can teach you humility.
Here is a work by Laura Satterfield. This is her subtext piece, Diary of a Young Girl, in which she recites and goes over a personal diary she's created over the years from her teenage years through now and adulthood. Laura is also our chair and curator of our culinary space. So right after this, we'll take a jump over to culinary and see some of the things that she's created there. This is a great space to interact with. I hope you're hungry. Here are some of Laura's other culinary creations. She does savory, sweet, and likes to sample different foods from other cultures. She also has a flair for cookies and baking. And as you can see, she can customize and make them personal for any occasion. Hope you're ready to sample. If we turn the corner and go to our table, I think it's time we have a glass of champagne. Besides looking at one of our specials today, Napoleons that are made out of fruit and they look delicious, let's try on a chef's hat and see if you have chef skills of your own. Donna Beckage is our curator for the subtext space. One of her additional skills is obviously baking. Please look at her Swedish tea ring. It looks delicious. Please check out some of our specials on our chalkboard. Some of our artists have provided the recipes that you can cook at home on the website. Give them a look and give them a try. Please take a look at our villa courtyard. This is reminiscent of what you would see at the villa. You might be ambushed by our traditional Getty Underground flash mob, so take a look out and see. We might have some dancers coming upon us. Also look around and see some of the digital images of the statues that you would see if you were to really visit the Getty Villa. When you come around and look, you'll see some of them are statues you recognize from previous visits. Normally, you can't go to the villa and jump in one of our pools, but in our virtual space, you can definitely take a dip, so we'll do that. I also want you to take a look at the scenic view around us and look through one of the binoculars that you see in our visual windows. You might see some local life that you would see in our views on the hills. Welcome to our theater and film space with original works created by our Getty staff members. Take a look around. Have a seat on one of our comfy couches, put your arm up on a comfy cushion, and relax. Have a sip of champagne. It's delicious. You kick back on the couch. Now you can get a little woozy. Don't forget, there's nice golden buttered popcorn. Maybe that's a clue for something. I want you to take a look at some of the works we have around us, and if you'd like to, explore them at a later time. But before we go, I'd like to leave you with a fun piece about a world's greatest dad. This is by Aaron Lee, and he's one of our event staff. Enjoy, have a listen, and thank you.
Boing.
You can't do the voice, Dad.
It's beautiful.
Meh.
It's art.
It's all right.
It's worth $10 million.
Exactly, which is why we need to stop standing here discussing subpar art and steal it so we can pay our mortgage.
Among other things, that Chrysler Pacifica is calling my name and I need that car.
It is a freaking minivan, Gary.
So it's got room for the kids, their friends, their soccer gear, plus it gets great gas mileage. What's not to love?
A minivan means that we've given up and we don't have sex anymore.
Which we totally do.
Oh yes, we totally do.
We are very, how you say, romantic.
Gary, we're here to steal the painting, not to have sex. And if you buy that minivan, you're going to be king of the carpool for your entire life.
I'm okay with that. Whoops.
I want to thank you for being a part of our virtual tour and exploring our virtual gallery. Supporting the arts and creativity and being patrons is important, and you're a part of that. Thank you. I will be available if anyone needs me for download of the application, navigating, or just having a tour or exploring on your own. You're welcome to contact me, and please enjoy the rest of your day and have a happy holiday. Up next, you'll see Brian Kramer talking about the upcoming RAFFMA digital projects that you'll be able to see.
Thank you very much, Tiffany, for showing us the Getty Museum's new virtual tour of the Getty Underground exhibit. My name is Brian Kramer, and I'm the research Egyptologist at the Robert and Frances Fullerton Museum of Art. And since COVID started, we have been trying to improve our capacity to provide virtual and remote experiences of the museum and its educational resources. And since the autumn started, I have been working with a team of 3 students to develop the virtual reality resources that we have from the great Egyptological collection at RAFFMA. Hopefully we will have this together soon so that you can now experience the exhibit, the Journey to the Beyond, and be able to manipulate the objects very close, get inside of them, and have a better experience than even being able to see it in person. These students will now tell you how they've been taking part in this project over the last few months.
Hi everyone, my name is Erica Kelly. I am a third-year history student here, and I am a student assistant at the Robert and Frances Fullerton Museum of Art. For the past couple weeks, I have been working very closely with Brian Kramer and the other student assistants at RAFFMA to photograph the different Egyptian objects that we have in our collection. After taking these photos, we upload them to an application on the computer in hopes of turning them into virtual three-dimensional objects that people can view from anywhere. I'm very excited and happy to have had this opportunity, as it is going to help me extremely in my future career and other job opportunities, so thank you again to RAFFMA.
Hi, I'm Chase Hansen, and I'm a student assistant here at RAFFMA. I've been working a little more on behind-the-scenes stuff of taking the photos that other student assistants take of the artifacts we have in the collection. importing them into our photogrammetry software that'll then construct three-dimensional models that we can manipulate of the artifacts in virtual space. Then I go in and I take these models and I bring these into full environments, like a full three-dimensional scan of our museum here, and construct a gallery experience that people could look at from their own home computers, from their VR headsets, or from anything else that they have to kind of experience what we have at the museum right from home. As an art history major myself, I'm really thankful for the opportunity to work so closely with our artifacts in the museum in such a cutting-edge way that'll really show other people why I'm passionate about art history.
Hey guys, my name is Zena Vergisco. I'm a recent transfer student from Chaffey College. I'm working with the 3D models. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dahlia Marin. I'm a third-year studio art major at CSUSB, and I'm also the graphic design student assistant for RAFFMA. I help with some of the designs for our social media work, and I've also designed some of our coloring pages. And working for RAFFMA has really allowed me to work in the field that I'm really interested in, and while also being able to prioritize school. And I've worked in jobs where that necessarily wasn't the case. So I thank you so much for supporting RAFFMA and allowing me to work there. And I hope you continue to support us in the future. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Teresa. I am currently a 2-year student here at Cal State San Bernardino. I have been working at RAFFMA for about 1.5 years now. When we were in person, I used to be the front desk and education student assistant, which means I used to give tours and I used to communicate with all the people at the front desk. But now due to COVID, I am the outreach and social media person. So meaning that me and my coworker Lana, we do our hour podcast where we kind of just talk about some interesting facts about art and about Egyptian history. And then I also do some social media outreach. I talk to ASI and people from there, and we kind of like coordinate events. This job has helped me career-wise because I want to be a nurse in the future. And so it's really nice having a job that kind of pushes me to communicate with others and kind of work on my public speaking. And yeah, that's my experience here at RAFFMA. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Lana for her experience.
So hi, I'm Lana. I am a 4th year currently. I am a double major in kinesiology and studio arts. I've been working at RAFFMA for 8 months now. Before lockdown, I, like Teresa, worked at the front desk, and I also worked with collections and working a lot with the behind the scenes things with the pieces in the museum. Now we're both podcast hosts, so that's what we've been up to. In the future, I'd like to pursue a career in art conservation, so this job really helps with that because I learn a lot about what working in a museum is actually like. I learn about a lot about the documentation about all these pieces and what goes into them, and along with that, I'm also learning about public speaking and working with others in collaboration, especially in the museum setting, which is super valuable. So thanks. And happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Escamilla, and I'm studying to get my Bachelor's of Fine Arts. Originally, I was hired by the RAFFMA to be their photographer. Since then, my role has expanded to include video and editing. This is really exciting to me because this has been an aspect of photography that I wanted to get into. So thank you, RAFFMA, for allowing me to expand on that experience. Happy holidays to everyone out there, and coming up next is some more words from our RAFFMA staff.
My name is Laura Munoz, and I work as a graphic designer for the museum. I help by creating different promotional materials such as flyers, email ads, social media graphics, and other different things for upcoming events and exhibitions. I first started at the museum in January 2019 as a student assistant, and it helped me gain a lot of experience in my career field. Working alongside the lead designer, I was able to understand a lot of how you work on different projects in the museum. So when I graduated and moved into a staff position, I had a good idea of what a graphic designer's roles and responsibilities were. And this past year, I've been able to work on different designs for events and exhibitions such as Golden West, Jan Safka's California Dream, the RAFFMA at Home series, Virtual Festival de Calaveras, and many other things. I enjoy working at the museum because I'm able to see all the different exhibitions and see many different great artists that have so many different styles and work in various mediums, and it's all very interesting to see.
Hi, I'm Mike Beckley, preparator here at RAFFMA. I'm kind of the guy behind the scenes. I get to paint, fabricate, build, and get everything ready for what's going to be on display in the museum. And I just wanted to wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
Hello everyone, my name is Diego Digoyen. I'm the Education and Collections Coordinator at RAFFMA. Happy holidays and thank you all so much for attending. Before we go any further, I'd just like to let you all know that this is indeed faux and I do not want to see any sort of hate in the chat or the comments section, please. Thank you. So I'd like to take this opportunity to go through the staff at RAFFMA and thank them for all the hard work that they've put into the virtual projects and the behind the scenes activity. That includes Mike Beckley, who put on that whole Festival de Calaveras exhibition alongside John and has been working with Brian and opening up cases and handling objects so that we can make 3D models of all the objects in the museum. And Laura Munoz, who's been producing graphic content for all the virtual engagements in the RAFFMA at home. And then we have Dahlia, who's been assisting her, and Miranda coordinating that whole scene. And then we have Brian Kramer, who has been spearheading the 3D modeling project, and it's been phenomenal to watch you work and the products of your work come to fruition. And I'm very happy that we can have the students involved in this process. Chase, Erica, Zena, and Dan Escamilla all producing virtual content behind the scenes. It's been awesome to see you all work together, and I hope that this experience really carries forward into your professional careers as well. And then we have Lana and Teresa, who have produced the Art Hour podcast, and it's been so exciting to see that grow, and I'm so happy that you guys have been growing with it, and it's been successful, and I hope to see that it serves you well in the future to have this experience. And then we have Miranda Canseco, who I think without, we all might be running around like chickens with our heads cut off. She's done such a great job in organizing us and bringing great ideas to the table, such as the RAFFMA at Home project, which is the reason why we won the Presidential Team Award. So congratulations to you, Miranda, and thank you so much. We also received the Getty grant this year, and I know it's been mentioned a couple times, but it's a huge accomplishment, and it really enabled us to create all of the virtual content that you get to enjoy now. And a huge thank you to Miranda Canseco again, because she was one of the people who helped me write the proposal for that grant. And so major thanks to you. I'm really excited for the future and what these projects are going to bring. Before getting to work at the museum, I tinkered with the medium of film and was producing art documentaries for the Little Gallery of San Bernardino and some projects for myself. And it's been really exciting to now move that medium and use it for the museum specifically. And so that leads me into the next section that I have the honor of introducing. Back in June, when this whole thing started to become an eternal reality for us, we found out that Mark Strickland, who is an artist that had previously exhibited at RAFFMA a few years ago, was stuck in California. He lives in France today and came to visit, and then everything shut down in March, and he was stuck in California. So we decided to take this opportunity to create an art documentary featuring Mark Strickland. And a huge thank you to John Fleeman, whose idea this was. So great props to you, John, and you did a lot of the hard work in filming this project. So thank you so much for all of that. And a special thank you as well to Ariel Gonzalez and Daniel Escamilla, who worked behind the scenes in filming, and Dan helping in edit the film. So thank you both so much. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first edition of Out of the Muse featuring Mark Strickland. Thank you all for your support and watching, and I hope you enjoy this film.
I remember telling my parents I wanted to be a poet when I was a literature major. And I mean, it's your parents' worst nightmare, second only to being an artist, right? No, I studied psychology. I graduated in the psychology department. I think the biggest influence on my work was the fact that I grew up as a small child, knowing my dad had been a Disney animator and having him with a nude model right next to my bedroom when I was 5 years old, and I could peek in and I could see my mother sitting here like this and him painting, and I could smell the turpentine fumes. So I always had kind of a lust and a passion for the art. I just didn't feel when I would bring it up to my parents that it was very admired by them. And so, I mean, I really probably went into psychology not to disappoint my parents. And when I went through the whole thing, I go, oh my God, I don't want to be a psychologist, but I do care about the human condition. And so I started going back to art, and from the very first second I was beating the drum about the human condition was the reason that I took psychology in the first place. What I really felt when I draw somebody is that everything that I wanted to learn in psychology was really, I didn't want to learn it linearly, intellectually, judgingly. I just wanted to sit in front of somebody and put that pen in the inkwell and draw them. And I felt like something amazing happened where that person wasn't themselves and I wasn't myself, like we were suspended, where I could feel something about what I really wanted out of psychology. So every chance I got to draw somebody, I took that opportunity. And so I ended up doing my master's degree at Cal State Long Beach with a crow quill pen and drawing the homeless and the prisoners. It was really, really important for me. I remember Toulouse-Lautrec said, I have no talent unless the person I'm painting is an interest, something I can take, you know. Me too, I have zero talent just to sit down and do a portrait of somebody. So I almost need somebody to have lines and have a history and have something before I even have anything to feel, to say. And so I would call it drawing by feel, sculpting by feel, composing by feel. A few years ago, felt that I was missing the experience that I had when I was doing my double master's degree and going to prison and doing the homeless people on the street. I felt so real, you know, when I was doing that. And I felt that it was the best, most real art that I'd ever done. And then I just felt I could, from some dreams, I felt really, really badly about myself, that I'd kind of become sort of some bourgeois teacher and becoming more about, you know, dressing for work and impressing my students. And I felt like I was killing my art in a way. So I decided to do a series on homeless people downtown. And in the beginning, I'm going, you know what, when I was younger, I would have been crying my eyes out. And now I'm just kind of feeling a little anesthetized and cold. It's going to take me a while. But by the time, after months had happened and I interviewed people and I got their stories and I would draw them and I would sit with them, I started getting my soul back, my compassion back. So I think if I am to talk about a turning point in my life, is that I lost my ability to be real after I'd graduated. And so I started really realizing that I needed to get back to where I'm working with people who have something that's uncomfortable, to me uncomfortable, because my life was getting more comfortable. It's not like I'm this crying person that's so breaking my heart. A little bit, I have to admit, you know, but over other people's suffering. But I'm also have a selfish side that I'm looking for something really, really that's passionate, that I'm curious about, and that I can almost be a voyeur into the pain of another person's life. It sounds terrible. And I find myself getting very much into their lives and involved with their lives. But my point is that with my work, I'm always showing a duality. I'm looking at the most horrible thing a human being can be, you know, and then the most angelic thing a person can be. And I really don't even want to judge. I don't want to tell anybody it's good or bad. I'm just looking as if I'm an alien from outer space. I come down and I look and these people are suffering. RAFFMA probably was the most well-orchestrated exhibition I ever had, and it was also a wonderful experience to be able to see other people and how they react to the work. And I tell you, this is a very curious thing, and it's hard for you to believe, but I don't feel like I did the work. I really feel like this alien. I'm walking around. I don't feel like I'm the artist. I never do. I don't even remember doing the work. But I'm watching the people, and then I'm seeing them reacting to my work, and I look at the work and I go, and almost I'm looking at it for the first time, and I'm kind of reacting to the work too for the first time. Watching the people and seeing their reaction is a beautiful thing, because you get to be a brand new baby, fresh student learning from scratch, you know what I mean? Right at that moment when you're seeing people reacting and going, wow, I didn't know that, I didn't know that. And so as a result of it, it kind of gives you a larger base to pull from experientially. A lot of the paintings that I have, I can actually go back and see that they just started with kind of an emotion and a scribble. Imagine a scribble that was the electroencephalogram of your, you know what I mean, of feeling what your emotions are. For example, I did a scribble on humanity in crisis, and I could feel, and at that time what was driving me is all of California was burning, and all of the beetles were eating the trees, and all of Arrowhead and it was burning. And so I was really, really anxious, and so out of that anxiety of making scribble of humanity in crisis. And then I could look and see in that scribble that I could see a human being, and then I made another line of scribble, but I brought the human being down. You could see the human beings being brought down and brought down and brought down and brought down, and until finally I almost have the whole composition done. I think a need has arrived in me in this period of my life, because I've done so many murals that are 15 feet, and then one, when you put them together and you walk along, are 40 feet. And I just started feeling I'm just repeating it over and over again, and I fell so in love with the three-dimensional physicality of the clay. The other part is that I started doing the murals because I noticed that if as long as I'm painting, I can't get depressed about anything. Well, the murals could keep me dancing sugar plum fairies of imagination for 6 months, for 1 year, so I could just pass. I never go into sadness because I could always live in that world. Well, the sculpture is like 1,000 times worse. I mean, I'm talking about 3,000 or 4,000 hours on a piece, probably because of my lack of talent, you know what I mean? The one thing that I discovered, which holds my attention, is that as I'm working, that I start looking at the roughed in shape. I can start to see by putting my thumb in that there's a muscle, and how do I know the anatomy so well? So I went to my former student, Ray Bustos, 8 years in a row, 8 o'clock in the morning, every summer, like a little kid, making the écorché model out of this clay. So it all came from that. And I just started falling in, I mean, like the pronating muscles of the arm. Oh oh my God, I could live to be 1,000 years old, and I could never really understand it. One of my students saw a drawing I was doing in the class, and he said, wow, you really know your anatomy. I go, no. He knows, according to the teacher. He knows the anatomy. I feel the anatomy. That the more I look, the more I see, and I'm seeing things that I think are impossible to see, and the fact that every single part of the human figure not only flows in one into the other, but expresses something. Every detail expresses something. You know, shocks you, and flows together and creates this orchestration of emotional layering of responses. And as an artist, and I can tell you the greatest thing about being an artist and devoting your life to it, even though you're going to be the poorest devil you ever met, that you create an interior parallel world. When you look at something in your external environment and you touch it and you feel it, you're literally sculpting it with your pen or your pencil and you're feeling it. You do that as a devotion for your entire life to feel the world you live in. You will create a feeling world of an interior parallel world that will be the gift of your life. And there's nothing more tactile than sculpture. I used to tell my students, the highest thing you can become is a composer. So let's make sure that you don't move your arms in a clumsy, stiff way, because you need to be able to, wax on, wax off, be able to compose things so everything will flow together, you see. And later I asked if I could come back during my master's degree and draw the prisoners. My companion, who was in the psychology clinicals class at Long Beach, was the head of the confiscation room, said, do you want the doors open or closed? And first I go closed. I want them closed. But I couldn't see, the light was coming in, and I started to make friends with these guys, how do you want me to hold, on the bars, the prison bar, and I go, that looks good. I remember one night working on that big head, and I start on 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm talking to him going, oh my God, this form is so beautiful. My little dog sticking her nose in it. And then I go, and I say to her, I go, come on in and join us. And I'm going, did I say us? That maybe talks too much. Talks too much. The most emotional impact. And so, I had those kind of talon-like feet that are now much more elegant, but they didn't express anything, That's why I don't even refer to the anatomy book or anything, or models or anything, because it's about making it. It's about looking at it and seeing what it's feeling like, and then just make that feeling stronger.
Hi, I'm John Fleeman, exhibit designer here at RAFFMA. I hope you all enjoy the first episode of Out of the Muse featuring Mark Strickland. It's a new series for us. We're hoping to do a lot more of it. I'd like to thank a couple of people before we continue on with the evening. 2 student assistants were very crucial in making all this happen. Dan Escamilla and Ariel Gonzalez, thank you so much for all that you did. We couldn't have done it without you. But most of all, we really want to thank Diego Irigoyen, who really pulled it all together. I gave him hours of interviews and B footage role, and he really put it together and did it quite masterfully. So thank you so much. Congratulations, Diego. I think it looks amazing. 2020 has been a challenging year and has changed so profoundly the way most of us work, and us here at RAFFMA are no different. So we do appreciate your support and patience with us trying to come up with new content and a new way to bring these cultural experiences to you without actually having you here. Having said that, normally I would be standing in this gallery here full of all of you, and we would be doing some sort of raffle or icebreaker game. I would be telling some jokes. You all would be kind enough to pretend that they were funny. And then we would have a few drinks and celebrate the holiday season. Unfortunately, we can't do that in person, but we are going to have a Zoom meeting right after this, or a Zoom party, I guess we could say. So you should have a link in the chat or have received one via email. So hopefully you can all join us for that. We've also, I think the staff of RAFFMA haven't even been together in like 8 months in the same room, so we couldn't do our usual holiday card this year. We usually take photos or recreate famous paintings or something like that. But the only thing we have is Zoom. Like so many of you, I'm sure, are just Zoom meeting until you can't take it anymore. Well, I can't take it anymore, and most of the staff can't take it anymore. So our holiday card is a Zoom theme. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope to see you really soon. And again, thank you for your support in 2020. And it's almost over, and hopefully next year will be better. So cheers.
No, now it's I can't hear Brian at all.
Sorry,
Oh, no,
I was speaking to myself. Can you hear me at all better? I apparently have two microphones, and one of them seems to not be working.
That's okay. Mike is driving, apparently. Thanks for joining us, Mike. That's great.
Yeah, I gotta get. Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Diego's feeding the cat. Can't hear Brian. Mike is driving around getting gas. Diego's feeding his cat. Oh, that's right. I gotta plug this in. This thing's not even working. Stand by. I gotta plug it in. Hold on.
Okay, could you tell us about the 3D modeling? How is it going?
I'm gonna phone it in then. Okay. I'm gonna try and Zoom with you on my phone too.
Oh! I do not.
Well, hello, Donat. How was the visibility?
That's good.
Emma, where are you? Where you're not? Is he snorkeling in the pool again?
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well,
Meeting.
This is great.
This is RAFFMA.
How is Mike in? By the way, has anybody noticed that Mike is in two different places? How is this happening?
Can you hear us?
Oh, that's because my I think I left I signed in on the computer and then left and got my car and had to get on my phone so I could be a part of this.
Well, we sure appreciate that.